serving, returning to the only thing I know that is perfect. You know the hidden things deep beneath the surface. My purpose to be a workman who need not be ashamed with the gift that was given. I'm praising in foreign language. You give vision to the blind sight and blind the minds of those who sold their soul like the birthright. Yes, the people chosen out of oppose me and crack pipe. End up with an O. What do you know about the high price? And since I'm nothing but a vessel, I learn to know my place and stay humble. I'm nothing special, just looking for the rescue. This life certainly will test you. And descendants of Jacob, my forefather who wrestled the battle king, he held on to the blessing. Hit by the socket, he gave birth to the brethren. Yasharal, we need spiritual progression. Connection with the Torah, we stand against deception. I pour my heart out in the session. My brothers keep on my actions, I often question.
Shalom family, I'm your brother Mark.
Shalom, it's your brother Lamawad, Shalom.
Shalom family, we pray that y'all out there doing well today. We pray for you. We pray that you all in good health. We have a family member right now that's not in good health, so we just pray that the Most High put our hands upon our sister in these times, and that he restore her to good health if it be his will. Today on this Shabbat, we have our 10th Bible lesson. And first and foremost, we want to give praise to our Father, Ahiah, his son, Yeshaya, and that Ruach, that Holy Spirit that lead us into all this knowledge and keeping us in good strength and health and just keeping us, keeping us in these law, statutes, commandments, bringing us here with another one to be servants of the Most High God and to help his people. Brother Lamawad, how you doing today?
Feeling good, man. It's all praise to the Most High. We're here. Another blessed Sabbath.
Calm. Another blessed Sabbath. So today, we want to go into, on our 10th lesson, we went from the wars in Canaan to now we want to go into priests, judges, and kings. The setup when we got in the land. What was the trials and tribulations that we were going through as a people? When you read those Old Testament books, even from Numbers on through, you see the same type of personalities in our people today. Same exact thing. That's how you just know the spirit that's in these Israelites. It's the same thing today. The same way we act, the same way we move. Even with the Gentile worships, as we already know, and if you're new to the knowledge, stay with us. Maybe we can bring forth some edification if it's the will of the Most High. Also, the kingship line, the tribe of Judah, just our people constantly going at it with each other for this kingship, trying to rule, trying to be the one. Just like today, trying to be the one. Loyalty, honor, respect. Those are the things when we read these Old Testament books. Things written aforetime for our learning, and these many different examples of how we should be moving as a people. So, King, if we first, can we open it up to, let's get Deuteronomy chapter 18. And we got a lot of scriptures today, so, bear with us so we can get this broken all the way down through the Spirit. Let's get Deuteronomy 18. Let's start at verse 16. Salakia. Let's get Deuteronomy 16. Let's get verse 18.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16 and verse 18. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
And this was what the Most High gave us back then, judges and officers in our gates, so we could be able to operate the right way. You know, today everyone is, you can't judge me, you can't judge. Who made you a judge? Oh, we got Christ. You can't judge nobody, but they don't really know what it means to be a judge. Right? The Most High is going to bring that back. We're going to get into it. The Most High is going to bring judgment back so our people could have a righteous rulership, a righteous kingdom. Here you get judged by the judges in this world that go and take, the bar exam and become your lawyers. Well, this is what the setup was that we had. We had the laws of the Most High to keep the land clean. Everything they're putting on the books today, making it okay for us to operate, that wasn't how it was back then. That's not how it was. So the Most High had this set up back then for us. Let's go to Judges chapter 2. Let's get Judges chapter 2. Let's get it. See how it was going down. Let's start at let's get verse 18.
Oh, Salakia, I'm in Joshua. This is the book of Judges, chapter 2, and verse 18. And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge, and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Lord because of their groanings by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, and following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations of which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel, whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein, as their fathers did keep it or not. Therefore the Lord left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua.
See, and just like today, the Most High had statutes and commandments for us to do, and we weren't doing it. But what were they doing? Let's jump over. Let's skip verse 13.
The book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 13.
Chapter 2, verse 13.
Like you. Chapter 2, verse 13. And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtoreth.
And that's what we're doing today. You bound down to this cross of Tammuz, and you're serving Ashtoreth in Islam. You're serving Ashtoreth in the Catholic Church. You worshiping Easter. So all these things, what our people were doing, and now we're doing it in ignorance. But the Most High wept at our ignorance, and it's time for all men to repent, like it says in the New Testament, right? It's time for our people to put these things down. Put down this foolishness. Keeping these days. You're serving these days more than the Most High's commandments. Even in ignorance, right? And we were there too. But how can you get this information and see that these days and these things are evil and they pertain to Ashtoreth and Baal? Hence your Christmas, your Saturnalia, repackaged as Christmas. All these days, right? As we know, those that have been in this walk long enough. But if you're not, let's put that down and get back to the Most High. Let's go to chapter 3. Start that out from the top.
The book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left, to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites, that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods.
So, coming in, this is what the Most High was against. You know, you see our people today, you coming into the truth in some of these organizations, and one of our people being married to a so-called Gentile. Some of our people don't even know who their great grandparents are, and you dismissing someone because the color of their skin, when you should be dealing with Christ and letting him make the separation in his kingdom of what he's going to do. If a person wants to serve the Most High and they want to obtain these laws, statutes, and commandments, you should be loving your neighbor, not going to precepts when you can find another precept that knock down that precept, that knock down that precept. That's why you got to study to show yourself approved. What's wrong with giving a person of another nation, oh, you want to follow the Most High God? They want you to follow their God. You think the Most High don't want a kingdom where his people can rule in righteousness? We got to be mature with this walk, man. Finish reading.
Verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgat the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Shushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Shushan Rishathaim 8 years.
Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 7. Let's bring out more edification on that. What was we just talking about? Well, brother, what you talking about, brother? What you brothers talking about? Let's get chapter 7, Deuteronomy 7 from the top.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Why?
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
That's what the Most High is about. He's not with them serving. He's not with you serving other gods.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
Go to Isaiah chapter 56. That's what the Most High is about. He's about, you're not about to be serving no other gods. He didn't he turn Miriam leprous? He's not worried about your skin. How you serving him? That's what's important to him. Not because the white man put ropes around our neck, brother. Well, you must can't stand your people more because we done shed that blood over and over and over. There's probably somebody getting shot right now in West Philly, in Compton, South Sac, Iraq, Oakland, San Francisco, Miami, Houston, Dallas. So our people were shedding this blood, what we gonna go into way before Edom was in our land. So us as a people need correction. We need correction. We gotta clean up our stuff first. Get Isaiah 56 and 6.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 56 and verse 6. Also the sons of the stranger that joined themselves to the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants. Every one that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar. For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people.
For what?
For all people.
Now,
The Lord.
We'll leave it there. Let's go to 1 Samuel. We just want to bring out some edification for those that this is new information. I've been following brothers that just tell me that they are the devil. All the nations is the devil. All the nations. You got our people that hate that music that our people praising more than some of our people do. Won't play it. They rather play their country music. Hey, woe to them that call evil good and good evil. Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 3 from the top.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 3 and verse 1. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli. And the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And ere the lamp of God went out, and the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep, that the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli and said, Here am I, for thou callest me. And he said, I called not, lie down again. And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of every one that heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things, which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end.
See, Samuel was a mighty prophet of the Most High. He followed the Most High. He didn't go off not one time with the Most High. He brought the word of the Lord no matter what was going on. I mean, things written aforetime was written for our learning. You know, these our forefathers that was operating like this give you strength. This should give you some hope. Of course, Christ first and foremost. But the men that was following the Most High, you know, you gotta shake your head like, yeah, I could do it. I like how they were moving. So make sure you sitting on this book, getting you some food every day. Finish reading.
Verse 13. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever.
Yeah, because Eli's sons, Eli was supposed to be representing the Most High, and he wasn't moving right. He wasn't correcting his sons. His sons was dealing with the women all up and through the church, something like that, right? That type of thing. Dealing with the women in Israel, taking money, and they was moving mean and saying they represent the Most High God. So you don't want to play with the Most High. You don't want to play with his people. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you standing with this word. Finish reading.
Verse 15. And Samuel lay until the morning and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here am I. And he said, What is the thing that the Lord have said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me.
He knew the Most High wasn't playing.
God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things that he said unto thee. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth him good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel, from Dan even to Beersheba, knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord.
Samuel, right? Samuel was a mighty man of the Most High, always operating, doing thus saith the Lord. This is what he telling us to do. Always moving right about the Most High's business. That's how we want to be with this word. Let's go to chapter 8 in 1 Samuel chapter 8. For Shemuel. It's how you say it in Hebrew. Shemuel, right?
From the top.
Con.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 8 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after Lacree, and took bribes and perverted judgment.
They was turning after money. Finish reading.
Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel, unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
Oh, you want to be like the nations, Israel. You want to be like the nations when the Most High said what? Hold that. Get Deuteronomy chapter 7. No, 23 and verse 6. Israel, you acting up. Behold what you got.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever.
We weren't supposed to be doing that, just like today. Seeking out prosperity. I'm going to vote for this, vote for that. Don't know. It's already handed down through policy. Through policy, right? Go back to what you had. Finish that out. You can't get away from their programming and what they want. You can't vote what they want. They're not looking to make you equal with nothing. You gonna sit your butt down, serve. You gonna pay your taxes, and you gonna come to Easter. You're not gonna be studying no Bible. You gonna listen to the Pope.
Verse 6. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people, and all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods. So do they also unto thee. Now, therefore, hearken unto their voice, howbeit, yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king. And he asked, and he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. And he will appoint him captains over thousands, and captains over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war, and instruments of his chariots. And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries, to be cooks, and to be bakers. And he will take your fields and your vineyards, and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. And he will take the tenth of your seed and of your vineyards, and give to his officers and to his servants. And he will take your men servants and your maid servants and your goodliest young men and your asses, and put them to his work.
This the kind of king you're going to have, Israel, since you asking for a king. You don't just want me to lead you through my judges and priests.
He will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And ye shall cry out in that day because of your king, which ye shall have chosen you. And the Lord will not hear you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel. And they said, nay, but we will have a king over us.
No, we gonna vote. No, we want black excellence. Finish reading.
That we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us, and go out before us and fight our battles. And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he rehearsed them in the ears of the Lord. And the Lord said to Samuel, hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, go ye every man unto his city.
Now, they don't want to serve the Most High, right? Just like now. But you just like back then, either choose ye this day, life or death. Let's get the book of Luke. What does Christ have to say about those that don't want to serve him? Get Luke 19 and 27. What does Christ have to say about those that don't want to serve him?
Come. This is the book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
So that's what's going to happen when Christ comes as king in return, right? You're an enemy if you don't want to serve him. It's not a thing like you could just beg, but the Most High, it's no gray area. We try to always explain ourselves out of stuff, right, in this world. He gonna look at he measured up commandments, law, have mercy on whom will have it. But you can't deceive the Most High. You can't deceive him. Right? Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 15. So, of course, as we know, the Most High ended up making Saul from the tribe of Benjamin the first king over Israel. And Saul had a way about him. You know, Saul had some personality on him. He was big, strong. He was a strong sized man, you know, but he kept falling short. You know, they asked for a king, and this is what the type of king that the Most High ended up giving them. let's start from the top.
Chapter 15.
Con.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
He remember
How
what
he
those
laid,
Amalekites did when we was leaving Egypt. Same rulers ruling the world today. He remember what they did back then in ancient times leaving Egypt. What'd he say?
how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
Finish read.
Verse 3. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites, and Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou camest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. Verse 8, and he took Agag, the king of Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and the oxen, and the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile, but everything that was vile and refused, that they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, it repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned back from following me, and hath not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night.
Because Saul was supposed to go and utterly destroy everything about the Amalekites. Where he say, no, I'm going to take him and I'm gonna save some of their goods. Yeah. No, the Most High said, go in there and take care of business. I don't want nothing from them evil, wicked rulers. The same people that's ruling today. Who's printing your money? Who's telling you go in the house? Who's telling you you need this? Who's telling you you need that? Who's telling you this new sickness every month? Who's telling you put your feelings towards police brutality? The same people back then, that serpent seed, the Amalekites, serving the devil. The Most High says, Saul, go utterly destroy them, and he didn't. More on that. Keep reading.
Verse 12, and when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites. For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, say on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? Verse 20. And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the thing which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, and Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of the rams.
So there's nothing that we can do for the Most High other than obedience. That's what we got to take from this right here. The Most High wants you to obey Him more than the sacrifices that you coming with. Just like now, He got Christ as a sacrifice. He got law, statute, commandments for you to follow, and He gave you Christ as your sacrifice. He don't need you out here doing no more sacrificing. Now, your body, just bring your body as a living sacrifice by doing the law, statute, commandments, by changing your mind, renewing your mind, like it says in Romans 12, doing what the Father wants you to do. It's easier now than it was back then. Right now, you just got to watch for the stumbling blocks of the world, of the programming that you've been raised up in Babylon, the most wicked and evil kingdom on the earth. Finish reading.
Verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, Salakia, He hath also rejected thee for being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now therefore I pray thee, pardon my sin.
Hold that. Go back a little bit. He said what? What was he doing?
And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice.
So he feared the people and they obeyed his voice. It's something about fearing our people. The Most High is totally good. You can't be fearing the people and making them have you sin. You gotta thus saith the Lord. You gotta thus saith the Lord every time. Finish reading. Matter of fact, hold that. Get Jeremiah chapter 1. Hold that. And get Jeremiah 1 and 17. Because the Most High is always about what did I say? What did I say to do? What did Christ tell you to go do? That's why we about this, the Most High's business and work. We're not looking to get filthy lucre. We're not looking to get as long as we could get some souls to the Most High in Christ, we get some souls to this water, we do this work, we feel good about it. Read that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1 and verse 17. Thou therefore gird up thy loins, and arise and speak unto them all that I command thee. Be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound thee before them.
The Most High, Jeremiah, you go out there and go speak to them. You go out there and speak to them, and don't you get scared of them, or I'm gonna get you. Same thing right here that Saul was bringing out. So when you're dealing with the people, that doesn't mean you just go out there and you just yell. You just bring forth the word of the Lord. You just tell them what thus saith the Lord. This is what the Lord say. You believe in the Most High. This is what His word say. This is the history behind. This is the history behind what this Bible is bringing out. These places exist. These people exist. Finish reading what you got in that 1 Samuel.
1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 25. Now therefore I pray thee, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord. and the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel. And as Samuel turned about to go away, he laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle, and it rent. And Samuel said unto him, The Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and hath given it to a neighbor of thine, that is better than thou.
Woo! Samuel ain't playing about the Most High's business. He wasn't showing no sympathy. Samuel sitting there begging, pulling at his shirt like, "Come on, man! I'm trying to serve the Lord." Man, look, I don't know about y'all out there, but that's one thing. Everyone in this world will deny you all day long. You get over it, but if the Most High deny you, I'm not trying to feel that. We're not trying to see what that's about. The Most High deny you. If Christ deny you, so we gotta thus saith the Lord, right? He say loving your neighbor. He say treating people a certain way. He saying doing his work. He saying keeping his law. You better make sure you doing this stuff to the best of your ability. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 3, King. Because the Most High is not playing. Let's bring that out from the top.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 3, verse 1.
So like
now there was...
Yeah, my fault. Go ahead.
2 Samuel,
right? I messed up. Go ahead.
Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David.
Because we know that after Saul, the Most High was giving this kingdom to King David. So Saul was salty. Saul was hating. Saul was not trying to give his position up, and David kept showing him mercy, sparing him, respect, giving him respect. He just was salty about it. Go ahead and read.
But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were sons born in Hebron. And his firstborn was Ammon of Ahinoam, Slakia, the Jezreelite. And his second, Chileab.
We're gonna read this whole chapter out.
And his second, Chileab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. And the third, Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shephatiah.
Let's jump it down to 6.
Verse 6. And it came to pass, while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, and Ishbosheth, and said to Abner, Wherefore hast thou gone in unto my father's concubine?
What you doing over there sleeping with my father's concubine?
Then was Abner very wroth and said, Am I a dog's head, which against Judah do show kindness this day unto the house of Saul, thy father, to his brethren and to his friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David, that thou chargest me today with a fault concerning this woman?
Were you trying to check me about some woman, bruh? That's what he's saying.
So do God to Abner, and more also, except as the Lord has sworn to David. Even so I do to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba.
Don't you know the Most High is giving the kingdom to David, and you over here protecting? I know that's your dad, but you protecting your father.
Abner, verse 11. And he could not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, Whose is the land? Saying also, Make thy league with me. And behold, my hand shall be with thee to bring about all Israel unto thee. And he said, well, I will make a league with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that is, thou shalt not see my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, Michelle, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, deliver me my wife, Michelle, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, even from Phaltiel, and the son of Laish. And her husband went with her along, weeping behind her to Barim. Then said Abner unto him, go, return. And he returned. And Abner had a communication with the elders of Israel, saying, ye sought for David in times past to be king over you. Now then do it. For the Lord hath spoken of David, saying,
look, y'all know y'all tired of Saul too. Y'all know that the Most High is sending David to be king over you. Y'all know y'all want David as y'all king. Y'all know y'all want David to rule over y'all too.
by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines, and out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner also spake in the ears of Benjamin. And Abner went also to speak in the ears of David in Hebron, all that seemed good to Israel, and that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make a league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over all that thine heart desireth. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace.
Now, Joab is the closest to David, right? He's his right-hand man. He's a soldier that's always handling business behind David. Don't you mess with David. Don't you mess with his kingdom. He's coming to get you. He a perfect soldier, right? He not with, look, you better watch out, David, I got him. That's how Joab was moving. Let's finish reading though.
Verse 23. When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, and he is gone in peace. Then Joab came to the king and said, what hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and he is quite gone? Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, that he come to deceive thee.
David, what you doing with him, David? You know he's coming to deceive you, David. See, Joab got that thing in his heart, right? Why does he have this thing in his heart against him? Finish reading.
And to know thy going out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou doest. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sarah. But David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the 5th rib, that he died, for the blood of Asael his brother. And afterward, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever from the blood of Abner the son of Ner.
Because you killed him. You weren't supposed to. You went killed him. You weren't supposed to do that.
Let it rest on the head of Joab, and on all his father's house. And let there not fail from the house of Joab one that hath an issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on a staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. So Joab and Abishai, his brothers, slew Abner, because he had slain their brother Asahel
So that's
at
what was in
Gibeon.
that's what was in Joab's heart. He killed his brother in battle. He was on Saul's side at that time. He ended up, but he was just in war. That's a tough thing to give some forgiveness and to really operate and know what's going on. You know, Joab was handling business up until that point the right way, right? Finish reading.
Verse 31. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, rend your clothes and gird you with sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And King David himself followed the bier. And they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner. And all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, died Abner as a fool died.
Dang, he died as a fool, man. Why would he go down that alley with him? Dang, how'd he go out like that? That's what King David's saying. Finish reading.
Verse 34. Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet put into fetters. As a man falleth before wicked men, so fellest thou. And all the people wept again over him. And when all the people came to cause David to eat meat while it was yet day, David sware, saying, so do God to me, and more also, if I taste bread or aught else, till the sun be down. And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did please all the people. For all the people and all Israel understood that day that it was not the king to slay Abner the son of Ner.
He wasn't trying to do that. You know, King David, he wasn't trying to do that. You know, just like, but David went off too, right? When he ended up sending Uriah to battle to die because he wanted to deal with his woman. So these examples from the forefathers, we got to always stay on point and say, you know what, I messed up. I got to grow from that. But when you just stay and you don't want correction, you can't admit when you're wrong, it's going to be hard to grow. And the Most High knows it's in your heart. He didn't spare Joab. We're going to get that. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 2. He didn't end up sparing him. He knew what was in his heart. You know, but he knew what was in David's heart behind sending Uriah to battle. He knew that you messed up. So have mercy on whom will have it. Now, what happened to Joab? What happened to him? Let's get 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 29.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 29. And it was told King Solomon that Joab was fled.
King Solomon, King David's son.
And it was told King Solomon that Joab was fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord. And behold, he is by the altar. Then Solomon sent Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, saying, go fall upon him. And Benaiah came to the tabernacle of the Lord and said unto him, thus saith the king, come forth. And he said, nay, but I will die here. And Benaiah brought the king word again, saying, thus said Joab, and thus he answered me. And the king said unto him, do as he hath said, and fall upon him and bury him, that thou mayest take away the innocent blood which Joab shed from me and from the house of my father.
He was like, nah, y'all got to come kill me right here. Y'all got to come get me right here by the altar of the Lord. Nope, y'all, if y'all going to do it, you got to do it right here. He knew his time was up. Joab knew his time was up.
And the Lord shall return his blood upon his own head, who fell upon 2 men more righteous and better than he, and slew them with the sword, my father David not knowing thereof, to wit, Abner the son of Ner, captain of the host of Israel, and Amasa the son of Jether, captain of the host of Judah.
Woo, we'll leave it there. So these examples from the prophets, the priests, right? The judges and the kings. These many examples from the forefathers of how we need to be moving and paying attention to what the Father wants. Let's get 1 Kings chapter 9. Few more scriptures. Bring that out from the top.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 9 and verse 1. And it came to pass when Solomon had finished the building of the house of the Lord and the king's house, and all Solomon's desired, which he was pleased to do, that the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon. And the Lord said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication, that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house, which thou hast built to put my name there forever. And mine eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people.
The Most High is not playing. You gotta follow him. You gotta follow him. Now he's setting up Solomon. Look, Solomon, it's your turn to reign. Go to chapter 10 from the top.
1 Kings chapter 10 and verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with the hard questions.
Oh, she come to see. I'm going to go see if Solomon got as much game as he I'm going to go see about that Solomon. I heard about him. Let's go see how he's really doing it.
Verse 2. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up into the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her.
Oh, she was done. Oh, Solomon, you're doing it so big. You're doing it right. This strong black man, Solomon, look at how he's doing it. He just got it all together. Finish reading.
And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in mine own land of thy acts, of thy wisdom. Howbeit, I believed not the words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard. Happy are thy men, happy are thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighteth in thee, to set thee on the throne of Israel, because the Lord loved Israel forever. Therefore made he thee king, to do judgment and justice. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices, very great store, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon.
And then she got up out of there. So there's people that want to bring forth Haile Selassie and all this stuff, acting like, oh yeah, through Solomon dealing with Sheba. No, Solomon wasn't thirsty for no woman. He wasn't impressed. She came to him and was impressed. Cool, leave your little spices and all that. You see how I'm doing it. That's how Solomon was moving. He wasn't thirsty for nothing. He wasn't jocking her. Right? Let's go to, and why are we saying that? Because they want to bring other, texts outside of Bible that come and try to say Solomon was dealing with it. No, he wasn't impressed. He had the king. He was an Israelite man and was dealing with the Most High God. There was nothing that she could come with. And she over there ruling over men. Where he at? No. He got strong man running the show. Their kingdom was set. The men was in order with the Most High. The women was in order. Everything was on page. The children was straight. The land was clean up until this point, right? Let's jump it over to chapter 11. When did King Solomon start going on?
First Kings chapter 11 verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go in them. You shall not go into them, Slakia. Neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
Same thing we read earlier in Deuteronomy. What was that? 17 or 7? Same 7. The same thing we was reading earlier. Why the Most High said don't deal with them? Gonna turn you to these satanic religions.
Solomon clave unto these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Mekam, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods.
That's what the Most High was warned against, dealing with all these different women, bringing in other Gentile religions, bringing in your Islam, bringing in your Catholic Church, bringing in your Vishnu and Shiva, bringing in Buddha, bringing in your Egyptology, bringing in your Kemet and Pan-African confusion, bringing in all your stuff, not dealing with prophecies, laws, statutes, commandments, Christ, not knowing your Israel, just holding on to I'm black and I want anything that's black that lets me do what I want to do, and then sit back and say, yeah, that's deep. That knowledge that brother Johnson is bringing out that's deep, because he black and he got the dashiki on, and that's deep. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 17:17. That's why the Most High tells us what we should be doing as men. You got to get over your lust, no matter what these other Israelites out here teaching you. Deuteronomy 17:17. What does the Most High say?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold.
You got to watch how you be doing that. You can't just be, I got all these women. You're going to start turning from what's important from the Most High. You're going to start doing things you're not supposed to do. You got to stay on point. Stay on the core. Let's go to 1 Kings. Let's go back to chapter 11. Let's start at verse 26. 11 and 26.
Come. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 11 and verse 26. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zeradah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way. And he had clad himself with a new garment. And they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David, my servant's sake, whom I chose because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may be a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. Verse 37, and I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desireth, and shalt be king over Israel.
So the Most High, since we started the lesson, time and time again, just keep taking that kingdom, giving it to this king. When you disobey, he don't need you. You need him. You need to do what he say or else. That's what it is. It's not no... He's not... You a special people unto him. Not you special because you special. Because you just do what you want. That's what our people have to realize, even when finding out that you Israel, all day long. Yeah, the Gentiles this, the Gentiles that. You all day, you know who's your dope dealers in the ghetto. Granted, they opening the gates, moving it in through the borders. You know who's killing, robbing, stealing, being ministers of darkness with the music. Our people. All of this everything we read today, it didn't have nothing to do with but our people. Our people was going off and going against each other, going against everything we read today so far in the Most High's word. Let's finish reading.
Verse 38, and it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and will walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. And Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt, unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the times that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, his father. And Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his stead.
Man, time and time again, it's always stumbling blocks. You know, by him dealing with those women, got him away from following the Most High. So you got to stay on what the Most High wants us on, right? What you think about all this, Lamawai? What we've been going into today, as far as our kings and all that?
It's definitely edifying, but it's motivating to just stay on it, regardless of how you feel or what people think about you. You know, thus saith the Most High. We gotta stay on that straight and narrow, keep his law, statutes, and commandments. We hearing it constantly and over again.
Let's go into chapter 12. Bring that out.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were to come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, and the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him.
Same thing today. You on the scene? Nah, we done with them new ways. We done with them old ways. You don't know what the old ways. You got to keep some of that seasoning. You got to keep some of that seasoning around you, right? From those leaders in Israel, or those leaders that can give you some wisdom. Yes, you need some of that young. You gotta have both. You gotta know how to juggle it and balance. Right? Measure with the Most High's law. How you doing as people? The people that been here, okay? You gotta know how it's moving. Finish reading.
Verse 14. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying. which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel.
Get up out of
Now
here.
see,
Get up out of here. We don't gotta listen to you anyway. We ain't got nothing to do with the house of Judah. Come on, Israel. Come on, Northern King. We going this way. Uh-huh.
O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with the stones, that he died. Therefore, King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon.
Come on, we gonna go fight. We gonna go fight. We gotta get this kingdom back. That was his plan, but the Most High had other plans. Read.
But the word of God came unto Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is for me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned to depart according to the word of the Lord. Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of his people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah. And they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold.
Uh-oh, there you go. Going into idolatry. He about to go back to that calf. Uh-huh.
And said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. Verse 30. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made an horse of high place, he made a house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi.
He going way off. He not even settled in his kingdom yet. And he already going to as soon as trouble comes, go to idolatry. He going straight to that. He putting up people that's not even of the priesthood line. He not bringing those Levites up to be the priest. He just going and getting other people just come to be priests. Finish reading.
Verse 32. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah, and he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he made. And he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel. And he offered upon the altar and burnt incense.
He was going way off. He was going way left. Most High, his people just kept going off. Can't get it right. Serving other gods, warring, bloodshed. Something up in Israel. One time I was talking to this elderly man, probably in his, I'd say, 60s. And we were just talking about, just the violence in the so-called black community, right? And he said, "Oh, well, no, it's just tribal. It's inherited." And he didn't really know the word. He say he believed. Old school Christian man. And at that time, I was like, no, it's the program and it's the stuff that we teach, which is true. But when you reading this, you see it is something within our people. That's why they love this gangbang, and it's something in them, and they just keep blaming. It's the white man. It's the poverty. We just need some money. We hear all these things, but we got that wicked heart that we got to really purge out as a people. It's something up in you. Always hating on your brother when he got a little more than you, or when you see, it's just that jealousy, envy, murder, the idolatry we see, seeking out the prosperity of the nations, all this stuff that's in them. It's not a kind of like, it is that we cannot become who we should be until we come to the Most High God. Every time we gotta come follow his laws, statutes, commandments, and be about him. Every time. Let's go to 1 Kings 17. Put some time on it today. Let's get 2 Kings 17, start at verse 13. You got to follow the Most High for you to operate right. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. If we are in this covenant with the Most High, we is chosen people, and what he has prepared for you is better than anything. It hasn't even come to our mind yet, like it says in the book of Isaiah. So, do your due diligence to get your portion. Bring that out.
It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 17.
2 Kings 17.
Sorry.
2 Kings 17, 13. Then after that, we just got some precepts. Then we'll bow out.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17 and verse 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I command your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. Verse 16. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger.
Stop right there. Let's stop right there. Serving all the hosts of heaven, crescent moons, Islam, your crescent moon idolatry, all this witch behavior around our people today. Our people in some real darkness right now. I'm an 80s baby, right? And you never seen our people into witchcraft like that. I didn't see it, right, as a child, and growing in the early 90s. You didn't see our people with this witch behavior. You didn't see men loving this darkness. Even our people that was in sin in the streets, they had a fear of the Lord, right? They believed in God. They respected their elders. Now, our people is like just loving the evil, calling themselves demons. They on demon time. That's what they saying. Just this witch behavior, enchantments, burn a little sage and pray and yoga on mat. Nothing's wrong with burning your sage, but when you thinking this power and sage and all this stuff and it's getting the spirits out, and you don't even believe. You believe in that madness. You believe in creation more than the creator. Total madness, and our people think they so smart because they make a couple dollars. They make a couple dollars. That's why I say if they call you wise in this world, you probably a fool, like it says in 1 Corinthians. Finish reading.
Verse 18. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David. And they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Kutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath.
We'll leave it there. We know that the northern kingdom went through other parts of the earth. We go to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. We see they went to the New World, right? We know they came to the Americas. So-called Hispanics, Native Americans, our brethren, those tribal people calling on Ahia. All those ancient artifacts they found when Columbus and all the rest of the so-called Edomite Amalekite powers came and colonized through the whole earth. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 6. New Testament. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Start out from the top.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust, and not before the saints? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Don't you know those Israelite saints, Psalms, precept in Psalms 50 and 5? Don't you know that the saints shall what?
Judge the world?
Uh-huh.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. But brother goeth to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers.
So you want to make sure you gonna be judging angels during this kingdom to come, the fallen spirits that's over all these religions, it's over all the programming that's running from judgment. When you go to Book of Enoch, when you go to Book of Jude, when you go to, give me some more, Lama Wild. When you go to Book of Isaiah, talks about it. Them being dissolved, right? The angels that fell. Don't you know the saints shall judge the world? during that time. Last scripture. Let's get Isaiah chapter 1, verse 26.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 26. And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward, thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city.
That's what's going to come. Finish reading.
Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness.
That's what he's going to restore. He's going to restore the judges as like was back then. He's restoring everything. That's what a kingdom is in positions. Is all coming back on point, on one accord. He's going to give us a new heart. Like it says, he's going to take out that stony heart, right? That we got. No, not going to be no feelings toward each other as a people. We're going to be transformed. It's going to be a joyful kingdom. If you make it, if we make it, we will make it, you will make it. So with that, family, bless you all. Praise the Most High, Ahia, in His Son's name, Yeshua. Thankful for that reward that leads us into all truth and keep us on accord. These laws, statutes, and commandments, all of this is a blessing for us to keep us like this, because we see destruction left, right, every day in this earth. We thank you all for watching. We thank you all for keeping up with us, growing with us. If you want to support us, we're gonna put in our description shirts. You know, for those that are hitting us up about the shirts, got some more things coming, more videos, more content. Bless you all. Anything for you, Lamawat?
I always hit it on the nail, on the hammer.
All right, family. With that, bless you all. Shalom.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, Would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall afflict thee. And I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth.